It's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
Show number 183. Got the full house here for this week's Flippinar. Well, we're here to answer your questions about wholesale and real estate, or your cash or credit isn't required. Plus, we like to try to add a little value in some other ways. So we got Renika here. We have Adria here. Her laptop is a little behind, but she is vocal. So until her laptop is live, ladies, how are you all doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Adria, how are you?
I'm good.
All right. Well, make sure you like this particular live stream if you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, of course. If you like it on YouTube, it goes into your library on your app. It'll be an option there. Going at the bottom of the screen. Now you can go back and go back to any videos that you watched of mine or any ones that you like. Also, if you need a free copy of the one-page contract that I've been using since 2003, text the word contract or access to it for free. Just text the word contract to 205-964-5243. The closing detail sheet that I use once you have a seller and buyer in place. If you want to make it easier for the title company or closing attorney to understand who's the seller, who's the buyer, the address, the actual selling price, who's getting paid what, namely your assignment fee, and then who's paying closing costs. So if you want a free copy of that, just text the word close to that number, CLOSE. Adria's still a little behind. So before we get into everything, Renika, if you want to share who you are and what you do.
Okay. As always, I'm super thankful to be a part of the Flipman Show. My name is Renika Williams, and I pretty much been in real estate about 15 years, but currently I am I'm sorry, lost train of my thought. But currently I own a private lending firm, and our goal is to make capital accessible. If you're looking for residential real estate funding, fix and flip funding, buy and hold, new construction, commercial, permanent commercial financing, development financing, we have every loan product for any type of real estate financing option you have out there. And if you just need gap funding, you need to be able to leverage your credit for some type of capital so you can get the resources that you need in order to really jumpstart your wholesale business, get your signs, get PropStream, aka Dealulator, be able to get all these resources you need. You can start by leveraging your credit and using other people's money. But if you are interested in any of those financing options, just go to findmynextdeal.com.
Okay. Well, while Adria's laptop is still going up, we'll go ahead and get into the Q&A.
Yeah, we can go ahead and go with TikTok. TikTok has a question on there.
Okay.
From Juan Gonzalez. And yeah, my computer keeps crashing on me. So let's see here. But he wants to know, what houses do you recommend targeting on PropStream, aka Dealulator? What filters and what states are the best? So first of all, you might want to be in your own city at that. But okay, in regards to Dealulator, what filters and what houses do you recommend targeting?
Well, there are a lot of directions that you can go in on that, and people that are listening or watching that may not be familiar with the tool itself. It's a tool that I use and promote through my brand, Dealulator.com, which you can access and get a 5-day free trial on. And also at the site, you can get video examples on how to actually use it. Can you pull the internet up at all?
It says it's connected, but it's not.
I'm saying, can you just go to Google?
No.
So everyone let you. So you need to change the internet to change it to the I don't even know what the name of it is. M Town Boy, I think is what it is. But yeah, as far as the actual filters, and it's sort of hard to explain that in your own TikTok. If you go to if you do this, if you text the word text to my number 205-964-5243, that video will give you an idea on what filters to use. Even though it's about text messaging, but I start with building the list through PropStream or whatever. So.
All right. So guys, don't forget, as usual, you can join us and ask your questions live yourself. But you simply do that by going where, Ty?
Yeah, if you text me on the number, just text the word Gator to me. I'll put you on live. Just make sure that your microphone is turned on. You don't have us playing in the background in any sort, and obviously your camera turned on. We won't add you on if one of those are happening. So.
Okay. So Swift Things, I see that you're on Instagram. You say that you cannot comment on YouTube. Just comment on whatever social media platform you're on, and we should be able to see that, and I can read your question and get that answered for you. Let's see here. So this is coming from Akilotu. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but what does it mean when a cash buyer wants point of a sale? Maybe you're meaning proof of sale. Proof of funds. But it said points off a sale. Does that sound familiar?
What was it?
What does it mean when a cash buyer wants points off a sale?
Oh, is it a realtor or something like that involved?
Yeah, you got to give us the complete deal. Are they using a lender? I'm not sure what direction he's going in on that points off. And at the end of the day, if you don't know what something is, ask them, what do you mean? It's okay to say that. You know,
right.
What do you mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, those were the two questions I had there.
But
what you got?
Yeah, I got
Yeah, points. I mean, a realtor points, lender points. Them the only points I can think about that would be probably associated with closing the property. But
all right, so we got Robert Matthews from YouTube said, let's say I have a house under contract. I've sent it to my title company, but my buyer wants to use their title company. What's the process to change title companies, change companies, and do I owe them anything? Well, that's part of the reason why I say don't do that until you have a buyer. Because if they're paying the closing costs, in most cases, they're going to probably dictate where it closes. Now, if you want to pay the closing costs and they don't care where you close, then yeah, you roll with it. But to answer your question, if they've done some actual services for you, then you owe them money, period. If you just sent a contract over there, they hadn't done anything, so you don't really owe them anything. But they've actually started the title work on it, then you owe them money.
yeah.
That's why.
And in cases like that, also be careful. You know, everybody want to use their attorney, but I know a lot of times using the seller's attorney. You know, if you haven't disclosed your fee and your assignment fee in between, that seller attorney will disclose it to the buyer, or to the seller, whoever you're doing business with. So just be mindful when you are going with the seller attorney or the buyer's attorney, and they don't really know that you're assigned it and things of that nature. It will come out, you know, because they are representing their client. So they will do their client disservice by not telling them about your fees and things of that nature. So just be mindful of that when you do make that change.
All All right, Reniki, I'm gonna direct this one to you. It's from Machiva8. I want to get a loan to purchase another property. However, they are telling me because of my losses on my taxes, they can't approve me for a loan or a refinance. Is this true?
Absolutely true if you're dealing with a traditional bank. That's a different from traditional banking and private lending, is that traditional banking is going to cap you at your debt to income. They're going to cap you at your finance. They are going to go by your tax returns. They are going to go by your income. So, eventually, if you are a true real estate investor, eventually you're just going to cap out at the bank because there's only so much money and there's so much debt that they're going to lend to you. As a private lender, like myself, we don't need tax returns, bank statements, income verification, nor pay stubs. So it really eliminates all of those financial documents, but whatever the case may be, and we focus completely on the asset itself. So as long as there's equity in the property, you have your down payment money, we'll be able to close your loan. And any private lender at that. So.
Gotcha, because he did mention that he had a 780 score and had the money, but just couldn't get the financing.
Yeah, because it just banks are conservative. Those are the things we must understand as real estate investors, is that eventually you're just going to get capped at the bank. They can only lend at 47% of your debt to income or something of that nature. So they're just not in the business to help you really grow your real estate portfolio. They're just conservative. They really want to lend to homeowners and not really real estate investors. So you just want to bridge that gap by dealing with the private lender.
Okay. Black Forbes wants to know, how do I calculate 20 to 30 cents on the dollar for vacant lots?
Well, you got to have a starting point, so you got to have a value first to be able to determine what's 20 to 30%. So that's one of the issues with lots. There may not be enough activity, sales activity, to give you something to go by. So in most cases, man, when you're dealing with lots like that, you just go what the market value is that the county has assessed it for, and that's where you try to get it at 20 to 30 cents on the dollar. So if they say the lot is worth $10,000, I'm trying to get it for $2,000 or $3,000. I don't know what you're trying to do with it, but I'm assuming we're talking about wholesaling, so I'm assuming that's what you're trying to do with it. So maybe you'll be able to wholesale it out at 5 or 6 or whatever. I'm not sure. So that's part of the issue with trying to evaluate the value of land. So.
All right. Do you still have that bandit sign up?
What do you mean?
The question on my screen that shows it is.
Oh yeah, I do. I do. I'm sorry.
Take that down. Okay, so Ham Cav wants to know, how much or what is the minimum earnest money should my cash buyer pay? So you got your deal, you got a buyer coming. What should that cash buyer put down for earnest money?
Personally, I will always request 500, minimum 500 or 1,000 for my cash buyer, only because I need you to have a little skin in the game where I need you to come to the table. So personally, I would never accept $100, $10 bill or anything of that nature, because it's just not enough. Your cash buyer, your end buyer gotta deliver. If they don't deliver, you have to regroup and get another one very quickly in order for you to meet your contract deadline. So, just, you have to be mindful that you have to meet your contract deadline. So you need them to put up a little bit extra money to ensure that they are really trying to transact that, make that transaction. If they put up a little bit more money, what do you think, Tom?
You're serious. You need to see how serious they are. So you're going to get them to put up a decent amount, like you say, the minimum 500, but I'm normally going to go with 1,000 or more, just depending on the deal, what relationship we have or we don't have or whatever. So yeah, you're going to have them put up something. And that's a lot of times they say, well, how can you tell if it's a wholesaler or cash buyer? A lot of times wholesalers are just not going to put up a lot of money. They're going to give every reason in the world not to do it. Whereas the reverse of that, cash buyers that just buy properties all the time, there's just no hesitation. What did I need to send it? Or I'll have it here. You can verify it through this person or whatever. So that's one of your first identifiers that you may not be dealing with a cash buyer, which is fine to deal with a wholesaler, but I'll just go ahead and ask, because it just so for me to recognize that, are you wholesaling? It's okay. I'll go ahead and, you know, give them that okay in the same message. I just need to know so we'll know how to proceed or whatever. So, because you never know who they know or whatever. So,
this ain't working.
it's still, I'm sorry, it's 205-492-3425. And then, it's the other. I'm sorry, it's the other one.
Okay, so Tila says, I found an abandoned property. I found an abandoned property and found out the owner is deceased. The owner bought it under his LLC. Oh my gosh, I lost the question. The owner bought it under their LLC, and I think she just wanted to know, how does she go about processing that through probate? Would the process be the same for any other wholesale property? So abandoned property, owner's deceased, is in an LLC. He might have been an investor, she thinks, and she wants to know, how does she handle that through probate?
It's still a human being. It still has an estate. It's just one of his assets and was placed in an LLC. But his portion of the ownership, it was 100%. It still goes to the state with his heirs or whoever. You know, it's still the same thing or whatever at the end of the day. There's always a human behind an LLC or any type of business end or humans. So I would assume that. What do you think in that situation? What do you think?
Right. I mean, it's the same process. I mean, you just got to go through probate, you know, so you want to contact, you know, whoever is the representative over his estate and let him know that you want to purchase the property, and they will, you know, that's a start. They'll let you know exactly if it's, you know, when it's going to go through probate, once all that is finished, when you are able to really come in and purchase it, or if it's, you know, you need to deal with the heirs or anything of that nature. That representative will be the one that you want to contact, so they'll let you know exactly what you need to do in order to purchase that from them or from his estate.
That works.
No. All right. So the next question
it's my other phone number and dollar sign. Yeah. Oh.
I'm doing it virtual, and I want to know, do you think I can close doing everything virtual? This is coming from YouTube.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can close doing everything virtual. I mean, there's a lot more moving parts to it. You got to, you know, figure out how to, you know, have your buyer or your seller, your buyer meet. I mean, you know, go and look at the property. They may meet with the seller. You have to figure out, you know, have some boots on the ground to be able to, you know, make sure they don't connect and don't contact each other, because if they do, they're going to cut you out of it. But I think that's the most biggest part of virtual wholesaling, is having someone on the ground to represent you, so the buyer and the seller don't meet. But I mean, as far as, you know, sign off on closing documents, that's called an out-of-state closing. That can happen anywhere. You don't have to be there to close on it. It's just out-of-state closing, where they're coordinating with the notary or somebody of that nature to sign off on those documents. You're going to overnight them the wet ink copy. So it's pretty simple. The same thing. It's just having some type of representation there, so the buyer and seller don't meet. You know.
All right, let's see here. Guys, I apologize. I'm actually still trying to connect, and I'm just reading questions as I see them across YouTube and Facebook. Ty, do you have one there?
Oh yeah, I got plenty here. Let me see. All right, Brandy, thanks for the kind words. Someone, Cameron White said, do you still help with comps? I have a house in Bowden, Georgia, very rural, hard to find comps. Yeah, we do. If you submit it to comps101.com, now if it's in a rural area, we're going to have the same issue that you have, I'm assuming. Just normally not a lot of activity in a small town or rural area, which means if you're trying to wholesale it, it normally means it's not going to be a lot of buyers either. So you can submit it though. Submit it to comps101.com. We'll see what we'll come up with. All right. Let me see here.
All right. So Karen Flanagan says, I've accumulated 400 properties by driving for dollars.
Oh.
Now I'm trying to find a service who can find telephone numbers and email addresses. Please help. All right.
Yeah.
So what can Karen use for these 400 properties?
You can if you text me just skip tracing or the word skip, then I'll this is lowercase here now. That's it. It's the number and then those last two letters. If you just text me on the number 205-964-5243, I'll send you over some info on that to get you going. All right.
Oh, about time. Oh my goodness.
What? Oh, it worked.
Yeah.
Hey, flip man. I'll read this one from, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but do you JV out of state? Yeah, which I haven't mentioned it yet, but yeah, if you have a property, you want to partner with us. If you have it under contract, it's out of, you're dealing directly with the owner, and it's a great deal, and it's off market. You can submit it to deallater.com. If you're not sure how to spell that, just text me on the number, and I'll gladly send you all the information on how to submit that. So most definitely, not sure how he says that name or whatever. Somebody said good night, everyone. Michelle said good night. All right, Michelle, good night to you.
Good night.
All right. Here's a CRM question here. Yes, I need a CRM that's reasonably priced. I'm not sure what's a reasonable price that's going to be subjective. Still not working?
No.
But if you text the number 205-964-5243 and CRM, I'll show you what we have and what we use on a daily basis or whatever to help you manage your leads, help you manage your banner sign leads, your cold calling leads, driving for dollar leads, other wholesalers, direct mail, just whatever your pipe, whatever leads you have, you want to be able to manage and separate them, which also the CRM will allow you to communicate with them through email, text, ringless voicemail, and even through phone with just a click of a button. But with the phone calls, they're actually recorded. So it gives you an opportunity to go back and listen to conversations with actual sellers if you need to, especially if you have a VA or virtual assistant working for you. You can see if they're doing it the right way, or if they've been doing it along with a partner. So yeah, just text CRM to the 205-964-5243 and we'll get you going, Karen Flanagan. All right. Whenever it reload, just give it a second to load up. It's just not going to be just automatically ready or whatever. So
Okay, take the banner down.
all right, banner down.
Yep, and the Vineyard has a question. I like this one. Okay, get ready, y'all. Is there any real service that a wholesaler can offer to a buyer or seller other than just taking money in the middle? Oh,
Well, that's not selling. You're talking about something else.
well,
Right.
Yeah, you're talking about
there's
something
nothing else to offer as a wholesaler.
Yeah, you're not taking money in the.
That's just what a wholesaler does.
You're talking.
That's what the wholesaler do.
There are
And
other ways.
outside of that, you start fixing and flipping and buying, buying and selling.
There are other services you can offer people, but that's wholesaling. That's what it is. If you want to cut sellers' grass before they put it on the market, that's a service that you can offer. Or when a buyer buys it, you can keep the grass. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? It can go just on and on with different services. If you know how to paint, you can offer those services. But we're here to talk about wholesaling. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
A lot of things you can offer someone, as far as services, in a real estate transaction. If you want to become an appraiser, go through the process and become an appraiser. You can offer that to sellers and buyers or whatever. So you get in the lending industry. I can just go on. Real estate is vast in the services that can be offered. But if you're talking about what we're talking about, then no, there's nothing else you can offer as a wholesaler.
No.
I'm not. Maybe
I mean, other than that, you become a bird dog for them, but that's what wholesaling is.
still same thing. Yeah.
It's the same thing. So no, I think you may be kind of overcomplicating it,
Yeah.
overthinking it.
Yeah.
All right, our next question from Juice Man. Could you explain double closing and when that would be necessary? So what is a double closing and when would you need to use it?
Okay. That's a good question. I guess I started off. So double closing is pretty much when you double close a transaction. So in order to kind of understand double closing, I need to speak about assignment closing. So one of the assignment closing is when there's only one transaction, there's only one closing, and on that HUD, your assignment fee appears on that HUD, but the closing is between the original homeowner and the end buyer that you bring to the table, and they close it together, and your assignment fee is just part of it's part of the fees on the HUD. A double closing is when you actually close it with the seller, but at the same time, at the same hour, in the same day, you're going to also sell that property to the end buyer all at the same time. So it'll be two closings. So it creates a double closing. There's a closing between you and the original homeowner, and then you're gonna close it in one. You're gonna close it, and then immediately you're gonna go over and sell that property to the end buyer immediately, all in the same day, the same hour, or whatever the case may be. So it creates a double closing. So it looks like you purchased a property and sold it all in the same day, and therefore there's no assignment. No one knows what your assignment fee is, and the attorney is going to give you the difference. Your assignment will be the difference from what you picked it up for and what you sold it for, and that'll be your difference between both closings.
All right, hopefully that answers your question, Juice Man. Going back to doing wholesaling virtually. I think you guys mentioned finding someone to represent you in the area that you're not in. So Juan Gonzalez wants to know, how would you find someone to represent you when doing it virtual? Say you didn't have family or someone else there for
Networking,
you.
social media, powered internet, Facebook groups.
Yeah.
You can tap right into my group, Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flip Man. Just text the word group to the number and you'll get access to it. But you can just start there, or whatever city that you're trying to wholesale in. Most of them have wholesaling groups for that particular market, for that particular city. So you get in there and start mixing it up and just asking people, hey, I need someone to do this. I need someone to do that, whatever. And so at some point you should be able to have someone that's going to keep their word, do what they say, and you all can partner and make some money. So you just need someone to just do some of the minor things for you on the ground that just got to be done or represent you and your interest or whatever. So networking.
Yeah.
Powered internet. That's why we're here right now. Power of the internet.
Well, right now, I'm not a fan of the internet.
That's wild, man. I don't know what's going on with it.
Okay, so psychomaestro.
I got somebody in the thing I can add on.
Okay, you want to go ahead and add them?
Y'all let me go ahead and add them in. While we're here right now. What's going on, Frederick?
How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Where you streaming from?
San Antonio.
San Antonio, SAT. What's happening?
Yeah, man. I got a lead from a cold call, and basically, he told me he was selling 20 properties, and he gave me 3 of them to look at. Hold on. He gave me 3 of them to look at, and I haven't looked at them yet. But he told me he didn't want cash. He said he basically want owner finance.
I'm about to say,
I'm trying to see like.
No, I'm just tripping. Go ahead. You say he only wants to do owner financing?
Yeah, he said he didn't want
Yeah,
cash.
so that's a good thing if their terms are good. So basically, he just tired of being a landlord, but he still wants the cash flow.
Yeah.
Right, and he doesn't want the I guess the possible capital gains tax that would come with selling those properties or whatever.
Right.
And so that's a way for him to delay it or whatever. So has he given you terms on what he would sell the properties for?
No, he said he getting older. He said he been buying houses for like 40 years.
Okay.
And he said he ready to sell them. So he told me give him a good price, and he said he can see where he'll go with it. So,
well, I would do something like, just to simplify it, and he'll probably counter. I'm just gonna throw out a number. What type of ARVs are on those 3 properties?
I haven't went and looked at them yet. I got off a cold call today.
Oh, okay. All right, that's cool.
Gave me the address though.
So let's assume that the ARV is 100, and to say the ARV is 100 and 100,000. I mean,
Right.
for each one of them, right? And the rental is we'll say a $1,600 a month rental area. Hopefully, it's something like that. And just keep it simple. Just tell them you'll do 100 payments at $1,000 each. Something like that or whatever. So, because he's asking you for it to make an offer. But basically, you're going to try to simplify it. He might say, well, not in the word, where's my interest or whatever. So that's when you start to negotiate or whatever. And if I started negotiating that way, instead of doing interest, I may just say, hey, well, I'll pay you $120,000 for it at X number of months. But you got to make sure that you have a decent amount of spread there on what the rental comps show in that area based on what you'll be paying him a month. Because if you're going to hold on to him, then obviously you want a cash flow. But even if you don't want to hold on to them, you have to make it attractive to whoever you're going to wholesale those terms out to or whatever. So, and the way you'll make your money is if he requires a down payment, so be it. But if he doesn't, you'll put it all in your member. Just say that he wants, $5,000 down on him or whatever. Then I would probably make my down payment with a buyer, $15,000 or $10,000. So I get the difference between the two down payment amounts, and then obviously raise the price to adjust to the down payment once it's submitted or whatever. So, but there's a lot of different ways you can go. It sounds like he doesn't owe anything on these properties, so there's a lot of flexibility.
They're free and clear.
Yeah. So what do you think, Renika?
Honestly, I didn't hear the question. Was it a question?
The guy wants to sell them, but he doesn't want cash for them. He wants to owner finance them. So he's the landlord. He's just tired of the landlord part of it. He wants to remove the landlord part about owner financing. You see what I'm saying? He still wants to cash flow.
So the question is, should you owner finance it?
Well, he's asking what should he do, because the guy, I guess he's never heard someone say, well, I don't want cash for it.
Yeah, he told me he didn't want cash for it.
Yeah, so that
is kind of weird, but I guess he has a reason, like Todd just stated. He probably just don't want to cash out. But owner financing work is all relative to the value of the properties. I mean, regardless of anyone owner financing, if it's over the value, it doesn't make sense. So as long as the value is there and it's within the value. One thing I noticed about like the portfolio type of properties is that it'll be like 3 or 4 golden deals and everything else would be BS deals, but they be trying to overvalue the weaker ones by kind of leveraging the better golden ones. So how I look at it, if I'm doing a portfolio, I'm going to look at them individually. I want to see what is the value of each individual properties. I want to see if I'm overpaying for those properties. So owner finance, a lot of times they want to owner finance because they know the value is not there. And if you go through a lender, we're going to get it appraised, and then they're going to realize that what you're trying to sell it for, the value is not there. So sometimes that's what happens a lot. They'll get you in. I mean, they know you're not going to do your evaluations. They know you're not going to do your appraisals. You're not going to do a lot of your due diligence because you're able to get in very quickly. So once you get in and make all those payments for 3-4 years, and then you try to cash them out or refinance it out with the bank, you can't because the value is not there, but you're not going to back out of it because you're 3-4 years in at that point. Okay. So, that's alarming to me, and I would wonder why. But I'll just father do my due diligence, regardless they sell it as a package. Look at them individually. Look at them if I'm purchasing individual, and make sure that you're not overpaying individually for those assets.
Okay. Yeah. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. Yeah. So get y'all guys' opinion on it.
All right, no problem at all, man. Keep banging. And let us know
if it makes sense, it makes a lot of sense, because you're only finding 20 properties like that, and if the numbers make sense, that's a good deal.
Yeah, I'm still gonna try to get the cash though. So
all right, what's up? So yeah, let us know next week how that turns out.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. You guys can still, I'm sorry, you still have time to join us just as Frederick did, where you can join us live and ask your questions. We're going to go into the question from Psychomaestro. He initially thought he had a FSBO, a for sale by owner, but now that they've agreed on a number, the owner is now saying he has a realtor that's going to organize it on the end. So how does that work? So the question was, I initially thought I had a FSBO, but now we've agreed on a number, but he says he has a realtor that organizes the deal on his end.
As long as the number still makes sense to you, it's still a deal. Just know that, since he's dealing with a realtor, you may want to double close it or something of that nature. But if the number still makes sense, it's still a deal. Regardless of a realtor is going to represent him, because he has to pay his realtor. You don't have to pay it. I'm assuming that fee is somewhere in that purchase price, but at the end of the day, you don't have to pay the realtor. The seller's going to pay the realtor. But it could be one of those scenarios where you may have to double close it, just kind of keep a clean transaction. If not, you can, just do an assignment closing. But I'll just kind of figure out if I want to double close it or assignment. But there's nothing to worry about. That's his payment to his realtor.
All right. Thank you, Rennie, for answering that. While we're here, Rennie, Body Bate still wants to know what were those funding options again as far as funding my next deal?
Okay, yeah, funding my next deal. So the funding options we have creative financing all across the board. So if you're looking to get into a fix and flip, a new construction, a buy and hold, we have residential properties, new construction. You don't need tax returns, bank statements, income verification, or pay stubs to get into any of those. And if you just want to leverage your credit, so you're able to offset some of the expenses, like buying the resources you need, like your bandit signs and Deal You Later, and any of the other script tracing services and things of that nature that you need, you can leverage your credit for gap funding or unsecured credit lines to help you offset some of those expenses. So if you go to fundmynextdeal.com, you'll see all of those creative funding options there.
Okay. I think we've had this question. We probably asked every week. So guys, listen up to this answer. But Troy Intent wants to know, what's the quickest way to provide proof of funds? Ty, you got an answer?
Well, it's difficult to get proof of funds that are free, in the sense that you could get proof of funds if you go through a lending process or whatever. So if you got the resources, probably mainly credit and the cash for a down payment, then any hard money lender will give you proof of funds. But if that's not your situation, then you're going to have to pay for it. Now, the service that I've used and I promote because I'm an affiliate, you can access through realpof.com. So, if you can go directly there, or if you don't understand what I'm saying, you can text me on 205-964-5243, proof of funds, and I'll gladly send you the link.
All right. So REI Next Door wants to know, what is the best place to find someone to help manage your leads? I got too many leads and I need help. I've considered hiring off Indeed, social media, or a virtual assistant. Well, having too many leads is a good problem, right?
Well, yeah, if you have too many leads, you don't have to have a human person to manage those. You just need the proper software application to manage your leads. And luckily, you're here because I have the answer for you. That's on Instagram.
It is.
On Instagram. So just text me 205-964-5243. Text CRM and we'll get you going. You just need the right application to manage your leads, my man. Ma'am, I'm not sure which.
It was my man.
Okay, my man.
Okay. Next question. What up to the GOAT Flip Man? What's the topic for tonight? Are you answering any questions? If so, do I need a contractor with me when I go look at the house for the rehab?
No, you don't. Well, you could, I guess, if you're just trying to get a general idea. What up to you, sir, by the way? If you're trying to get a general idea of repairs or whatever. Ideally, I have a simple approach that I picked up from this guy that I saw on YouTube. It made sense to me or whatever. And it has somewhat worked for me. And just understand this is a generalization. It's not set in stone or whatever. But for the most part, and you just, whenever you're doing your repair costs, you're just generalizing. You just need a number to work with that's reasonable or whatever. So you know if you have an opportunity or not. So a simple thing you can do, if the house is livable, multiply the square footage times $25. If it's not livable, multiply the square footage times $40.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Juice Man. The next question is going to be from Amazing Change. It says there was advice given to pay the seller to take pictures. Can that payment be used as an EMD? I'm not particularly sure what was that an option when maybe the seller didn't want to let you in?
Well, yeah, someone on one of my dailies, it made a lot of sense to me. I never thought about it like this because sometimes you may say if it was a virtual situation and you needed someone to take pictures, and guy said he just normally just asked the seller where they do it, and they may just give them $50 or so just to do it, 20, whatever, just to send. They're trying to sell it, and they know you're buying it at a distance, so they just may do it. And technology is so easy now. Who doesn't have a smartphone or whatever? And they just send over the pictures. So as far as an EMD, I don't think, because those are going to be two different things. But everything is negotiable, I guess. But ideally, you get them to do one service versus the EMD is supposed to be used for something else, which is to lock up the contract to say, hey, I'm serious about buying your house, and if I don't, you keep this money or whatever. So whereas you're trying to get them to take pictures, that's for that particular service to take pictures or whatever. But again, everything's negotiable.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. Bodman Yardy wants to know, how do you find cash buyers for vacant lots? Same process, right?
Yeah, you do. You do the same thing you would do for a house. It's just probably not going to be as plentiful as houses or whatever, but you're going to market your deal just like you do for a house.
Okay. Swiftings wants to know how to avoid earnest money until I have a decent amount of income. Okay. Well, we do talk little to no earnest money, $10. We talk about that a lot. So I guess
you got $10.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you borrow $10?
Right.
You borrow $50.
Mm.
Can you borrow $100?
Mm.
Anything over that, you're probably trying to deal in the real estate, the realtor world, real estate agent world, which I strongly advise newbies to stay away from. If you're asking this question, you definitely need to stay away from real estate agent. So if he can answer that question, you have $10, you have $50, you have 100. Can you borrow any three of those denominations? I'm sure you can. You can borrow $10, $50, $100. You gotta change the circle of people that you're around.
Okay, so he responded and says that they say thousands.
Yeah, you're trying to deal with real estate agents, or you're trying to deal with wholesalers to check you at the door.
Right, absolutely, as they should.
Just haven't educated yourself enough. Keep watching. Get off Instagram. Get over to YouTube and educate yourself.
Okay, you hit it on the head.
And then also, another creative way is just, maybe do the reverse wholesaling concept where you find the money first and you make the end buyer put up the earnest money. If it's $1,000, that's what you ask the end buyer for. It's $1,000. And the end buyer be able to pull up that earnest money too. So that's a creative way to, not have to put up the earnest money, but just have the money already ready to go before you even find a house.
All right, and I think you might have hit it on the head, Ty, because he said a wholesaler trying to wholesale me a deal.
Yeah.
The earnest money, someone asking that much for earnest money, you're dealing with someone that's not a motivated seller.
When someone gives
Or
you,
you just want to make sure that you're serious.
Yeah. Whenever someone gives you an earnest money amount, whether it's a seller, normally they're not going to be a motivated seller normally, but sometimes they are. Real estate.
I partner with them. Ask them, it's another wholesaler, co-wholesale. Hey, no problem. I'll find the end buyer. And if I bring the end buyer to the table, let's just split the fee. And therefore, you don't exclusively put it on the contract, but you let them know if they're willing to put it on the contract, cool. But if you find the end buyer, you bring it to the table. You and the wholesaler work together as a team to close it. So that can help you to get around your earnest money too. It's just co-wholesale it with them.
Yeah, and if they don't want to do that, it's a deal breaker. Thank them for their time. Let them know if anything changes. If numbers are set,
Exactly.
it can be a deal breaker. No different if someone gives you a price that doesn't work for you. It's a deal breaker.
All right, I see you, Shaq Smith. What up, Doe from Detroit West Side in the house. Always here with us, listening and providing content in the chat box to our other listeners and subscribers. Thank you, Shaq. Alan Curry says, "Hey, Flip Man, does the seller need to do anything else after they sign the contract, like sign the deed or anything? So once you get that seller to sign the A to B, what do they do?"
They don't do anything. But just simply wait on you to reach back out to them, let them know if additional information is needed to put the closing together, or when it's time to close. I'm sorry, let me back up. You may need to access the property. Sometimes they won't give you access, give you a key, or it may be occupied, so you need them. Other than that, no, you don't really need to reach back out to them unless it's just some information that maybe a buyer asks you about the property that you're not aware of, and you might not have the answer to. You have to reach back out to the seller for that answer. But other than that, they don't have to sign anything else, and more than likely until it's time to close. Or again, if it's a title issue or something, they got to do something to clear it up. But other than that, it's time to start searching for a buyer once they sign that agreement.
Okay. Kai said, "Not sure what trouble you've had. I actually haven't looked at it in a while." He said he's been trying to get into the Facebook group, but keep getting denied.
Tyson, just text me on the number. Let me know when you're doing it, because we saw they have some minimum. If you hadn't been on Facebook that long, you probably just automatically get denied or whatever. So, so just text me on the 205-964-5243. Say I'm getting denied on Facebook, and I'll make sure you get approved.
All right. Take the banner down from Cameron, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
What banner?
Oh, on my end it shows that there's still.
No, it's nothing.
Okay. So let's see who this is. Juan wants to know, I think y'all asked about this, some guys. Do you work only with high-priced houses, or do you shoot for the low ones? Do you shoot for the pretty houses, or do you shoot for the ugly houses? There's no correct answer.
Shoot for deals, man.
Yeah.
Pretty.
It's all about the numbers.
Yeah, pretty, not so pretty, and everything in between. Just shoot for motivated sellers. The condition of the house is irrelevant. Now, sometimes the condition of the house is the reason why they're motivated, but you're shooting for motivated sellers, right? And the reason you target vacant houses because they're vacant. And a lot of times because they appear to be vacant. Sometimes houses are vacant, you don't know they're vacant, but the ones that appear to be vacant, you're just playing the numbers game. There's a possibility that individual may be motivated to sell because they're not taking care of an asset. You're hoping that's the situation or whatever. So that's why that's one of the methods that we recommend that people, when they're starting out, to target those, because that's something that you can see. And then again, there may be a possibility that person is motivated to sell because they're not taking care of that property or whatever. Now, a lot of times you call them and they still in. A lot of times they're still in la la land as far as price or whatever. So that means they got more money than problems. You know what I'm saying? So you just move on to the next one. But you're looking for motivated sellers regardless of the condition of the property. That may be why they're motivated, but it doesn't matter if it's a brand new construction. If they pay cash for $500,000, and I don't know, they may got into some issues, maybe a tax situation. They need to sell it for $300,000 to pay a tax bill. Hey, that $200,000 spread is going to be something that you can wholesale, and it's a brand new construction. Not likely to happen, but it's possible. So it doesn't matter about the condition of the house as long as the seller is motivated to sell cheap.
Okay, so Chef does have a question tonight, Flip, and it is: have you noticed the price of houses going up in your area, making buyers increase their offers?
You can go with that, Renika, first, please.
I mean, prices are definitely going up. You know, people are and the prices are going up because of the supply is down. You know, there's a high demand, there's a low supply, and these interest rates, the 2% interest rate, have created this demand for all these properties, and it's not a lot of supply. So when it's like that, the demand will overpay for just to get it. So that's what's happening right now. You know, it's just people are overpaying a market price for it just to get the property because there's not a lot of properties out there.
Okay, so when doing that, wanting to do the JV deal with you, Ty, Angela Walker wants to know if I found a property on Zillow for sale by owner, can we submit that deal on Dealulator? That would be a no, because one of the requirements is that it is an unadvertised property, not something that anyone else can just Google and look up. Is that correct, Ty?
That's correct.
That's correct. So that would be no. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not a deal. Let me state that it's just not one this qualifies for the Dealulator JV deal. Now, if you do some research, you pull some numbers, and you just sure that it is, you know, you can always reach out to Ty via the number on your screen. But as far as the basic rules for submitting a deal for JV, one of them is for it not to be marketed, and that would knock that out. So Karen wants to know what's the best time of day to call homeowners. So when you're doing these cold calls, you should call between what and what?
I forgot who sort of helped me to this, and I'm assuming who I was talking to was know what they're talking to. I forgot who it was, but I was convinced. Ideally, the time I think is 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday are the best time frames, but no group of all of us don't work on the same schedule. So all the other days are in place except maybe Sunday and all the other times, between I guess 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Oh, I mean 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. But as far as that window that may be most effective, may be able to reach the most people, that's what I've been told, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. in that particular time zone where the property is located. And Tuesday through Thursday are the best days from what I've been told. So what do you think, Monique?
I agree. Hey, get Gator, call him to the answer.
Yeah, well,
give him a text message.
Yeah, just call to the answer.
Call the answer. Hey, you see these messages, but absolutely. You want to call nobody too late. I think that's kind of rude. But anything before 6, 7, 8 o'clock, I think it's doable. Saturdays, maybe not Sundays, I don't know. But people be out and about Saturdays. So you leave a message, send a text message. Someone should call you back and answer. But I'll just keep calling her until someone answers if it's something I really, really want.
Okay, so I am Dion Tech says, do you feel like houses with liens on them are good to wholesale, or do you recommend something else? So minus any unpaid taxes and liens. So we'll go with houses with liens on them too, correct?
I mean, you don't know what liens on the house when you're putting it on the contract. That really comes out somewhat at the closing table or prior to the closing table when they pull title. Unless the seller just know, you ask the seller, is there any? And always to their knowledge, they don't know. But I don't know how you don't know about your own liens. But, but they would say something like that. But it's going to come out at the closing or prior to closing. But as long as it's within the price and it still work. Now, if I'm selling it wholesaling for $50,000, there's a $90,000 lien on it, then at the end of the day, it just don't work anymore because those liens have to get paid off before you purchase it. So the liens work only if the numbers still make sense to the deal.
All right, Frida. Question is, what can I use to make calls other than my phone? So does she mean the actual phone,
Well,
or does she mean her actual phone number?
It may mean both. If you're trying to use a different number, there are going to be services out there that provide third-party numbers that you can download an app on there and dial from those numbers. I use Vumber.com. They just updated their app. It's a lot more user-friendly. Now, if you're trying to get an auto dialer, speed dialer, which will dial multiple numbers at a time to speed up the process, then you may want to try batch dialer. That's going to be an option for you on that. So if you want access to that, just text me and I'll be glad to send you a link for it or whatever. So, but so I guess you may need to explain exactly what she means on that.
Okay, Frida, if you could clear that up, I'll try to make sure we get back to your question before we close out for the night. Quint Lee, thank you for joining us. Says hello to everyone. Why don't you use PropStream for skip tracing? I've noticed everyone uses someone else. Why is that? What's with that? So, can you not use PropStream for skip tracing?
Well, the reason that I promote something different. And I'm an actual reseller on both that I promote or whatever, skip to flip and deal later, which is, I send people to PropStream through that. The reason I do that is because a lot of people don't have PropStream, right? People that have PropStream know they can skip trace through it, right? That's an option. But a lot of people don't have PropStream. So I give them another option to skip trace as a pay as you go. You don't have to actually have a membership and then do the pay as you go on top of it. Some people can't afford to do both. Sometimes I try to give people the least expensive way to try to get into this, because I try to look at it from the standpoint when I started, and I didn't have a lot of money to work with or whatever. So that's why I suggest a lot of the things that I suggest as far as starting or whatever. So that's why I do. I don't know about anyone else. Is that I mentioned another option as far as skip tracing beyond PropStream because a lot of people don't have it or whatever. So I give you the option that I recommend as a pay as you go or whatever, meaning you don't have to have an actual subscription for it. So that's why.
All right, there you go, Quintley. Hopefully that answers your question. Do we have some? Mine is just delayed, right?
Man, yeah, yours is really delayed. Oh
okay.
My God, wow.
Oh, okay. That explains a lot. Okay.
So are you live?
I am. It's just that far behind. So I'm wondering. What's going on with my laptop?
Wow.
Invest in some new equipment here. Try it out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're trying to pull up Google Chrome?
I pulled up everything. It's connected to the internet. Google is what's down.
Oh.
Google Chrome is what's crashed.
So you can't do StreamYard? It won't take you there?
I can't do StreamYard.
You can't pull up any websites?
I cannot pull up any website.
Log out up there as far as the Google. No, don't close the window. Log out of up there that account. Log out of that account there. Just log out.
Okay. It's actually not even signed in.
Got it. You sure?
Not signed in.
Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah, I did that first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I do apologize. I've had some technical difficulties here. My computer here isn't being friendly to me today. As Shaq mentions, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe so you'll be notified anytime new content is uploaded. So let's see here. So what about pre-foreclosure listings? Are those good to target? So y'all asking about every possible kind of house. They all good to target.
A deal is a deal.
Numbers make sense. Do them all.
And the number makes sense.
Manufactured homes, taxes, liens, pre-foreclosures, what? All of them.
Fire homes.
Like that. Yes.
Small houses, pretty houses.
Yes, ugly houses, pretty houses, small houses, big houses, little tiny houses, houses with yards, houses with lakes, houses with garages, houses with carports. It don't matter. But I will say, wouldn't you suggest that if you're going to start going down the lane of pre-foreclosures, that you need to make that your niche? Like there's more that goes along with that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, pre-foreclosure, you're dealing with the banks. You always have to somewhat double close it with the banks. A lot of times you have to go through a realtor. So I mean, there's a lot of moving parts with pre-foreclosure. I mean, you can target those. But it's a few more extra steps when you're dealing with them, because you have to, get everything approved through the bank, who's somewhat foreclosing on the property or short selling the property. Pre-foreclosures, they're not really in foreclosure. So they have the ability to make their payments and get it out of foreclosure. So I just think there's a lot of moving parts with it. But sometimes you do cash for keys with foreclosures or things of that nature. But a lot of times it's in foreclosure because the loan is greater than the value of the property sometimes. So if the property is upside down, you really got to go through short sale in order to get it as a deal. If the value is lower than the loan amount. So there's just a lot of more moving parts with it, but it's doable. I wouldn't say completely target at and not look for other type of properties. I would just have a clear understanding of, if I do have a pre-foreclosure that hits my desk, that I know exactly what to do with it, whatever the case may be. So what do you think?
Well, yeah. To answer your question, yeah, it is possible to wholesale those. For me, like you say, if the numbers work, but if it's a situation where I got to go through the short sale process to get a discount, I'm not going to be interested. That's me. Some people make their entire living doing it that way, and they make a good living, but it just takes a lot of organization, a lot of patience. Not sure what a short sale is. It's basically the person that has the loan on the property that's behind on payments. They going back to the person that they owe, the lender, the bank, and ask them will they take a discount on what they actually owe. All right. That process normally takes anywhere from 30 days, which would be just unbelievable, but 30 to maybe 120 days. That's 1 to 4 months just to get an answer that, what they would take for it. If the house is worth 200, they owe 180, and they come back and say, hey, yeah, we'll take 70 for it. Oh, we're worth every bit of the time you spent on it. Mm-hmm. But it's worth 200. They owe 180, and they come back and say, yeah, we'll take 175. That's 4 months of your life you're gonna never get back.
Right. And that's a 3-4 month process minimally.
Yeah. So there it is. So you want to go down that rabbit hole? And I say this, I seem like I have to say this on every live I do. I know when people hear the word foreclosure, they automatically think it's a great deal. They automatically think they're the only one that knows about it. This is not 1990. This is 2021. They got this thing called the internet. We all know about foreclosures. They're the most competitive so-called leads out there, right? So again, not saying you can't do it. They're just easier ways to find deals, period.
All right. Trip it. That could be something that Ty, Renikia, and everyone else can get into. They said, do you guys do meet and greets? You need to do some meet and greets this summer.
We did that last year.
Was that 2 years?
Before last.
I think it was 2 years ago, yeah.
Dang, it's been 2 years.
2 years.
That's crazy.
It might have been longer than that because
it was like May. It's like 2 years right now.
Yeah, sure was.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That felt like that was like 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
Rennie, this is a question from Jay Johnson, and it's in regards to wholesaling, which we're here to answer, and it's in regards to Illinois, which has made it a little bit more complicated. So the question is there any way to do a deal in Illinois JV with an agent? That's probably the best way to go, right?
Right. Yeah, Illinois got, and Todd can better explain that to me. But I just think y'all got to get a little bit more creative out there. Become like a transaction coordinator, Just got to get creative because they don't, I guess they're not allowing you all to wholesale properties out there unless you completely own it. Is that true? That's how that is, huh?
Say that last part again.
They can't wholesale in Illinois unless they own the property. They have to own the property to flip it.
You can only wholesale one property a year without a broker's license. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all got to get creative, or partner with the agent, but you definitely got to get creative on being able to do what it is that you all do. And I'm thinking maybe y'all need transactional funding. What do you think that would work? If you bring in transactional funding, close it.
I actually, I think in the interview that I asked the attorney that I did a couple years ago with from Illinois, he said they would, that probably will work, but at some point they would probably catch up with you on it or whatever. Because I asked that or whatever. So I think I did. People, you all can go back and look at the interview that I did with the attorney there in Illinois, and he broke it down or whatever on how it works. Just do Flipman in Illinois, it'll probably come up. So
right, but that's the fun is like you really closing it. It's a day long. So I mean, they look at the paperwork. They can't pinpoint as you wholesale anything. Yeah. I closed it, and then within 24 hours or so, I sold it.
That was what I was thinking. I'm pretty sure I asked them that question. I forgot the answer you gave, but it wasn't an answer I was looking for.
Right.
So. Yeah, just go check that video. I forgot what my man's name was, but he was kind to share his time with us. So,
So y'all got to get creative. I mean, at the end of the day, hey, transaction coordinator. My transaction fee is $10,000. That's a service.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I don't know. Lion asks us, how do I get on the text message group? Is there a text message group?
Yeah, just text the number 205-964-5243.
There you have it, Lion. All right, guys. So look, we've been on for a little over an hour, and I apologize because due to my technical difficulties, we're gonna have to go ahead and close out. Just because I'm not getting anything. I've done my best trying to use my phone to look at questions across all the platforms versus the software that Ty has that makes it really easy for me to just ask those questions. So I apologize if I didn't get to it. You can most definitely join us next week to ask that question. Ty does live Q&As every day in the earlier part of the day that you can join. You can always continue asking your questions under the video. Ty goes back in and tries his best to answer questions, in the chat box area as well. Again, pretty much anything that you want to know, you can text 205-964-5243. You can text the word contract. You can text the word join. You can text the word CRM. You can text the word do you later. Anything that Ty has been talking about, text it to that number and he'll reach back out to you and give you information in regards to that topic right there. And also don't forget to join us on that Facebook group that Kaisa mentioned earlier. Thank you, Kaisa, for plugging that in. Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flip Man. Like, subscribe so you'll get all the notifications when new content has been uploaded. Ty, anything?
Oh, no, that'll do it. Anything for you, Renika?
Boom. That's it.
That's it. And we out. We'll see you on the flip side, guys.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243.